Here we have.
Alright, taste it.
This is a rat brain.
Keep your nose plugged.
And the interesting about this is you notice this big,
Now, can you tell me what that
big
is?
protuberance here. That's what's called the olfactory bulb, and humans have that as well. But in the rat, you notice in comparison to its brain, it's like a large part of the
It
brain.
tastes different, right?
Why do you think it would have
At first
such a
you
big
can't
thing
really
to help
tell
with
what it is, and then when
sense
you
of
unplug
smell?
your nose, now you know. Do you know why
So
that is?
the rat really
So on your tongue,
relies
you
on its
have
sense of
taste
smell to
buds,
explore the world.
But you actually
So that's
use a lot of
why it
smell.
has such a big. I can't get it to.
So that's why you had your nose.
That's why it has such a big part of the brain devoted to smell.
Just touch a very little bit. I want to be able to.
Yeah?
You want to try a jelly bean test?
It's cool.
So the idea of the jelly.
Plug in your
No, I
nose.
think I
No, you're gonna put it in your mouth, but the idea is to try to taste it with your nose. With your nose. Okay.
so cool.
The idea is that the sense of flavor that you get.
Alright, I was just sitting there. It was awesome.
Is actually your nose.
That's the real one?
Yeah, it's the real one.
That's you?
If you cover
Yeah,
your
that's
nose,
real.
Yeah.
tell me what you
Wow.
taste if you cover your nose.
Do you want
It's
to
a
touch
human
it?
brain.
What do you
You
taste?
can touch it if you'd like.
Do you taste sweet,
I can touch it?
sour,
Yeah, you gotta put a
bitter,
glove on.
salty?
I did. Really sweet.
Really sweet. Now cover it. Now take your nose. Cover your nose. What do you taste now?
More sour, but
Like
also
what flavor would you say?
lemony.
Lemony, right? So when you covered your nose, all you did was have the taste of either sweet, sour.
So-
And then when you take your nose,
wanna take any
when
guesses
you
of these
uncover your
brands?
nose,
Huh?
your sense of
guess at
smell,
these
taste,
brands? Oh, yeah.
flavor, and that's your brain coordinating that taste and
Yeah,
smell to give you a sense of flavor. And
What do you
that's why
think
we have
these
And
are?
that's,
amazing
those are what,
flavors
animals?
in the
Yeah,
world.
All kinds of animals. Right?
yeah.
Have you been
From
inside
where?
here?
From
Oh, you've
from
been
lizards
inside
to
already. So you saw the fun part.
to frogs, I
Yeah,
We
guess.
have
from
some
all
of these
over.
over
You
there
know,
if you wanna take
can you
one.
guess?
Down
Wow.
there.
Yeah, I got it.
Some-
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want to make any guesses?
Huh?
Do you want to make any guesses?
What brain is that first one? A real small one.
This one?
Yeah.
It's a fish brain.
Wow.
You want to guess
There's
that
the eyes
one?
there.
What's
Yeah,
that
those are the
one with
eyes.
the two eyes? That's a strange one.
Yeah, those are all the eyes, the big bulbs.
Wow.
So this one is a fish.
Yeah.
This is a frog.
Mhm.
This one's a snake. This is a bird. And here we have a rat. Or is it a rabbit?
That's a rabbit.
Yeah, it's rabbit.
Wow. And this is a real brain.
This is
Yep.
a human brain, yes.
Wow.
So it's really hard because they've
Wanna see a human
plasticized
brain?
it.
Yeah.
Two hands if you're gonna pick up the brain.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like this.
Oh wow. That's,
All right. So here we actually have
and
a
that's the
secret.
top, and now that. It always got that
You can
split
poke
in the
at it
middle.
if you'd like.
Yep, this is called the lateral fissure.
It's
That's where you
actually
get the
kinda
right
hard.
hemisphere and the
Oh
left.
right,
It's actually a
right.
lot
That's
switchier.
fine.
It's not split all the
Here we
way.
have a lot of
They,
different kinds of brains.
there's a
this
Corpus
is the
Callosum,
fish
which
brain.
is a
This is
connects
a
them.
frog brain,
And
and
that's
those two
what
big
enables
bulbs
your
are the
brain
eyes
to
and all of them.
communicate.
This is a snake.
both sides communicate with each other.
This is a bird.
They
then
do have
the
some
rabbit.
procedures where they cut that. Let's say if you have,
And these
you have something
actually
going,
have- these are
going
rat
wrong with the
brains.
left side of your brain,
What do you
they'll
guys
cut
do?
that, and then the right side of your brain
this
will
is
be
just
kind of
Brain
controlling.
Awareness Week.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
So most people here are somehow in neuroscience.
And this here is, so this is the cortex.
This is another frog
Yeah.
brain, but without
This
the
is the
eyes.
prefrontal cortex, which is attributed with most
Yeah,
of our
so this one's actually a
like
mouse.
higher
The
cognitive
mouse is a lot
functioning.
smaller
Yeah.
And
than
if you
the
notice
rat.
in the monkey brain,
Because they're a lot
it doesn't
smaller.
have that big protuberance. at the
Wait,
end.
that's a mouse.
Yeah, this is the mouse. Look how big the difference is.
So
let me ask
this
you
here
this.
is the
Why do you
cerebellum.
like- they're gonna
This
do
is
like all these
associated with
tests?
coordinating
Why
your
mice?
bodily
so mice
movements.
Actually, it's really easy to manipulate
And
their
then here you have
hands. So if they're doing
what do you think
anything
goes
really
into
confusing,
here?
That's why they're using mice.
Uh,
That's why you can't,
your
you can't
spine?
do
spinal
gymnastics.
cord.
Yeah.
Spinal cord goes right in here.
But for behavior,
So
we use rats
that's what
because they're
connects
smarter.
the brain to the rest of your body by sending out
That's
the
actually
signals,
the,
sending out the
Totally
signals
being
there.
Amazing.
too, like,
Wow.
And
they're really great.
another thing to
So
note
here's
is,
the human brain.
compared to these other
Here, let's
brains,
get this first.
you
This is
notice
the monkey brain, actually.
the increased amount of grooving in the human brain.
Yeah, so you
And
see
that's
there's, like,
another
those two
thing
floaty
through
things
evolution
here?
that enables
Those
us
are
to
the olfactory
have such high
bulbs.
cognitive
This
power.
is for smelling.
Whereas you look at the
And
rat,
if you look at like something
there's
like the snake, they
practically
actually
no
have a really
grooving in
huge
there.
olfactory bulb. It's called the
And that
Jacob's
grooving
organ.
improves the surface
It's because
area,
they use their
so that we
tongue
actually
to
have a
smell
larger
and
brain
sensor coordination,
than is
right?
really it actually looks like. It's
you
actually
see how like
about the
All
size.
brains are the
rabbit
same
has a
size,
much
right?
smoother
Human brains?
brain
Well,
than
Not all brains are the
say,
same
like the sheep or
size,
the
but
human.
Yeah.
That's
Spread
because
generally
we have
most
a
3
less
pounds.
brain to
3
fit
pounds.
inside
Yeah.
our heads, whereas
And a
we
bigger
have-
brain doesn't
if we
mean
had,
smarter person,
If we
just,
kept it like that, where our heads
That's
would
what I
be
always thought, you know that?
compared to the rest of our
You know what I
bodies.
mean?
That's why
Bigger
we
brain
fold it up
means
a lot,
smarter.
and that's
But
why
not
we
really.
have those
What they
skull
do
bends and
find is
stuff.
that if you have bigger parts of your brain, like
So let's-
there's a
let's
part of
do
the
one
brain called the
these
hippocampus,
perception tests.
and that's
So,
been
I don't know
shown
if
to
you
be
guys
involved
seen
in
these kind of
memory.
things before.
And they've
Yeah,
done
I've seen
studies
those, like,
on.
which one's bigger.
Are you familiar with
That
London
thing, you know, they're
taxis?
both the same
Where they
size.
kind of have to take a test
Yeah.
about London,
Oh, you haven't seen it?
and they
You're
have
like,
to
yeah,
know
yeah.
like all the streets, all the ways to get everywhere.
Yeah.
And they found that
Magic trick, remember that magic
London
thing?
taxi drivers actually have a larger
Yeah, so it's just
hippocampus
they're actually the
than
same size,
other
but your brain
like
is
people
like,
who
oh,
aren't
but
London
that's
taxi
farther away,
drivers.
so there's no
And the
way
idea would be that so like a bigger brain
So this is actually
is not
pretty
necessarily
fun to
smarter,
do.
but a bigger part of the brain. Like say you have a bigger
Here's the shape.
hippocampus, you
Yeah.
might have a better
Here's what I
memory
guess what the
than somebody who has a
shape
smaller
is.
hippocampus.
It's amazing what the brain can do.
Alright, now what do you think?
That's
And
everything.
would-
Everything we can do, that's the brain.
I mean, there are a lot of senses in there. I think it's from 1 to 6, something like that.
Alright,
Senses
now,
of the
The brain.
well, the 5 senses.
Yeah, the 5
Yeah,
senses.
right? So, it really
So
depends
most
on the
what we
context.
would
So the same
say
exact
the vision
shape,
is back
same
here.
Size, same everything. But they just
The
change
sense
the
of
context
smell
of
would
where
be
you're looking at.
it's located somewhere in here.
Another
Olfactory
creepy
bulb is
one.
what it's called.
These.
Hearing
These
generally over
So,
here.
you guys know who this is.
And your sense of taste is the same right by
Oh.
the sense of smell.
Wait, could you do it again?
And what's interesting is that the brain also, in terms of
It
your
looks like so
senses,
messed up, or just,
Yeah.
like,
this
how
is
did I
where
not
your
see
sense of
that,
sight
right?
is, but not in everyone.
Yeah, so your
Like,
brain just really, it takes
Blind
for granted
people,
a lot of information.
when they touch things, this
another
part
cool way of looking at it is
gets
with
activated.
colors. I don't think I've
So
seen
it's
any
like
perception
their brain is
colors.
realizing, well, I don't need
A
it for
good
sight
one
anymore, so I might as well
is
use it for something else.
Even if you're not
And actually, when they
including
touch
color,
things, they
so
light
just
up this part of the
shading.
brain. Whereas somebody who
which
could see,
square do you think
they don't
is
light up
darker,
that part
A or
as much.
B?
They'll light up in this area called the somatosensory
What do you
cortex.
think it is?
So that's another amazing thing about the brain is its
darker?
ability
Oh
to
wait,
change
no,
itself.
No,
That is
it's actually
amazing.
the same color, but because in the shadow. your
Thank you
brain
for the,
thinks, that has to be
Well, thank you for coming.
Oh, yeah. I saw the bus. I didn't know what it was, you know.
Did you go inside the bus?
Oh, yeah, I went in there.
Yeah, we
It's
have some
amazing.
microscopes.
Microscopes and everything, yeah.
Club.
It's really cool.
Did you try a jelly bean test?
Oh, that's okay.
Are you sure? I don't know why people say no to jelly bean tests. They don't like jelly beans.
Well, next time you eat something, cover your nose before you put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Alright,
And then after you taste it,
what you guys gotta do
release your
is
nose and
close
you'll
your eyes
get the real flavor.
and plug your nose.
Oh.
Because
I didn't realize
your
that.
tongue
Stick your
just
hand
gives
out when
you
you're ready.
a sense of salty,
Now when I give you the jelly
sweet,
bean, go
bitter.
ahead and put
but
it in your
if
mouth.
you're drinking like coffee, you're not going to taste the coffee. It'll just taste like
Now
the
keep your-
bitterness.
keep your
and then you
nose
take your
plugged.
nose off, and then it's like, oh, it's coffee.
Alright.
Oh,
so
okay.
flavors
So you
just
put it in
like
your mouth with your nose, when you cover your nose.
So that's where the brain comes in, where it coordinates the
Nothing.
sensory
Nothing,
information
jelly
from the nose
How
and
about
the
you?
tongue
What do you think?
to give you flavor.
Okay.
It's the same thing it does with like coordinating your sight, your hearing, to understand what I'm saying. Like you're
It's up
looking
to
at my
you.
mouth
If it's
move.
better, there's the. Okay,
If
now,
you heard these
unplug your
sounds and my
nose.
mouth wasn't moving,
Oh,
you'd be
what?
like, what's going on? My
Yeah.
sight
Okay, what
isn't
is it
going
now?
with my
When you unplug
ears,
your
and
nose, it
you
tastes
get
different?
confused.
I think I let go my nose, man. It's amazing. Like a little bit, another shoot.
Ruined the experience.